Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the Select Talent Coaches Show. This is going to be a weekly podcast until the season starts. Just a real quick introduction. Looks like my video is being a little choppy, so I do apologize about that. But I want to introduce myself again. Matthew Olson, aka Fireball, Texas. With everything that we've been through, I've got SMU. And with me, I've got a couple of other people in the room today. As always, I've got Bryce Smith, aka Bimble underscore
What's
44.
going on, guys? How we doing? How we doing?
He's got the Bulls from Buffalo, not the Bills. Close, but
But we're good, man. Just keep it rolling. I'm not
all
talking
right.
about those today.
Oh yeah, you are. Sorry. Then and with us also Drew Landgren. He is. Are you from Boston?
Originally, yes. Right now, I live in upstate New York. But yes, let's go BC.
All right.
Whereabouts, Drew? In upstate New York, by chance?
Upstate, right near Lake George, small town.
Okay, that's cool. I grew up near like Silver Lake, near the state park in Letchworth.
Yeah, that's not too far.
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's like a little
That's
bit
not
of a
too far
hop,
at
skip,
all.
and a jump. That's funny. Small world, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So first, Drew, before I get into anything else, just a quick question: how'd you find out about us here at Select Talent?
So for me, I found you in the Facebook group. I just joined it when it was only like 1,000 people in there, and all of a sudden, the Select Talent showed up, and I'm like, oh, I gotta jump in on this.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it's amazing that that's already like around 50,000. I was talking
Yeah.
with Anthony, the guy who has it. He's going to come on the show eventually. He's in
Mm.
Vegas, so and I'm in Indianapolis. We're all on the East Coast, so when you start moving two time zones over, it gets a little tricky trying to get people together. But we're at least going to have an interview with him coming up because he's doing good things there. I expect to have about 120 before the game actually releases or thereabouts.
Mm.
But with that, I do have some news about the league. One of the things that got brought up in our chat, Bryce can talk about this. We have people that come from Madden. Like, we've got a lot of play. So let me follow that up first, Drew.
I see.
Um, yeah. So Madden or college football 14? Like, where do you come from? What's your gaming background joining us?
Both.
Fair enough.
I do both. So yeah, so I have a super small YouTube channel. So but I do a lot of college football revamped. Love it. So I do that. That's probably my favorite in each series, whether it's Road to Glory or Dynasty. So it's really both. But I grew up
I
playing
dig it.
Madden. I didn't really find college football until I was probably in my late teens.
Yeah, for myself, I was playing college football. I remember running my own team like back in like 2002 on the PS2,
Hmm.
way back when I was in college, and it kind of stuck with me. Not so much really not as much of a fan of Madden, so I know I'm gonna be a little behind on the stick skills at the beginning. But um, again, I'm from Waco, Texas, and at the time we had a really good football team before the series ended. So I got a little. Whoever has the Baylor Bears, you better win because that may get taken from you. But I'll get into. We'll talk about our teams here in a bit.
He's coming for you.
I am. I am. No, you know who you are. And then with that, I do have some news about the league. So we're trying to do things a little bit different, and this is what I was getting to before. Um, with the Madden leagues, we hear there's a lot of turnover back and forth. Like players, you start getting out of contention. There's
Really
nothing to
weird.
play for.
But if it's I definitely see it and believe it. I just don't agree with it. I guess is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what we're trying to do is we're trying just to make one group of guys. Like if the three of us are here with another 131 people, and we just keep playing season after season, I'm perfectly fine with that. But
Hmm.
again, we want to reward people for joining the show. So I don't have anything concrete yet, but we have partnered with a couple of a pair of companies actually. They're gonna help out, and we have a very unique idea for what to do with championships. Because in video games, you may win your title, but you never actually win anything you can tangible. We're trying to fix that. So not only for champions of the conference, but also the Select Talent champion. We're partnering with Unique Sports Apparel. We're going to get jerseys out to you guys, whoever
Let's
wins.
go.
And then we have we're trying to do something where, again, we need to bring in a little more money. Again, we're going to try to see what we can do off YouTube, and hopefully we can get enough to cover, because I want to get everyone who stays a year. The goal is to get everyone their coach's polo, with their logo and then our logo too. Just try to give somebody an incentive to stick around, because I know a lot of competitive people like myself are not going to like looking at like Colorado last year. If you see 4-8, that's going to be a little it's going to hurt a little bit. So we're trying to put something in at the back end. Again, I can't make any guarantees on that. That's what we're working on. But the jerseys is probably something we're going to do. It just may not come out on time. But that's what we want to do for a unique reward for everybody who plays. Also, with that, we have another one that we're working with, cut D1 different. This is another apparel company with someone I haven't talked to personally, but I was told that he's going to see what he can do about helping us out. Current D1 player, and with NIL, I don't really want to get into any more specifics, but we have we've got some big things planning that we're working on. So let me get back to this real quick and put you guys back on the screen. Let's start with just a little intro. And Drew, we're going to start with you, just because, again, people are probably going to get tired of hearing me and Bryce talk all day. But I told you I'd do this. So Drew has the Boston College Eagles.
Yeah, we're so fierce. Watch out. Not really.
Tell us about. So, I see you're wearing your BC gear. You've been a fan since when?
Since childhood, pretty much. So, of course, I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up in the greatest era to ever be a Boston sports fan. So, I needed a college team. I was like, oh, Boston College, perfect. Love it. You know, they had Doug Flutie back there when I was in high school, or just graduated high school. They had, of course, Matt Ryan was there. We got all the way up to number 2 ranked, and then, as Matt Ryan does, chokes. We lost.
Oh, you had me there. I'm sorry. So what do you know about this current group of guys you basically inherited? The way I view this league, I'm the coach at SMU, Select Talent SMU. Like,
that's right.
That's how I see it. It's my ship from here on out. And again, without any ratings, this is kind of interesting, because again, with my case, I know nothing about SMU. I'll get in, give you my whole brief on what I see, and I think I really, really lucked out. It's probably even a better spot than Baylor right now, with just the way things are going. But I'll get into that. But what do you think about BC? What's your offense? What's your defense? Just give them a rundown on what you're looking for. Like, really, what's getting you hyped up for this season coming up?
That's right. What's right? Move over, Bill O'Brien. I'm the coach. Okay, I know you just stepped in. You're done. I'm here. So, actually, our offense, I'm really excited about. We have some really great players. Our quarterback, Thomas Castellanos. I call him kind of mini Kyler Murray. He's a very poor man's Kyler Murray. But, I mean, he had 13 touchdowns, I think 1,100 yards. So he's a dual threat quarterback. That was just rushing stats, by the way. We have a really good receiving core. They're young, but they're very good. I'm going to rebuild Boston College into a national powerhouse. That's my goal. It's definitely not going to happen year 1. Maybe not year 2. I'm very interested to see how the transfer portal works.
Yes.
Because our defense, not going to lie, our defense needs a lot of work. We were bottom 2, I think, in total defense last year. So we need a lot of help on the defensive side.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm very interested to see how that works out, because I looked in SMU, wound up getting like only a class of like 25 players came in, and half of that were transfers. And I'll get into that a little later. Basically, everyone in South Florida hates us. And that's fine, I'll just go and talk about it. So, taking over for the coach at SMU, who was SMU's previous offensive coordinator. So much like you, my defense, we got some edge rushers. The middles looks a little new. Corners are gonna be a problem. We got basically the middle looks good after you get past the D tackles. So we got experience where you need it with the coaches on the field. I may have stole that from you, Rhett. I'm sorry. And then the offense, that's where things get a little different. So compared to NCAA 14, just being 11 years out, you have so much information you can find out on everything. The internet is a wonderful place sometimes. I was able to get a whole hour coaching clinic from SMU's head coach to a group of high school coaches in Arkansas. So I have a better understanding what they do with tempo and how I'm going to use tempo. And again, he was an offensive coordinator at SMU for 2 years. Then he got a different job. He was the offensive coordinator at the U. And then he took over a couple of years ago back at SMU when Sonny Dykes went from SMU over to TCU, just across the county line over there. And yeah, he brought in a lot of guys from Florida. So we've got some linebackers. We sold the slot receiver from Miami. He's coming in. Our wide receiver core is stacked. I'm probably 6 deep when we look at it. Like that's going off of spring ball yesterday. And then running back, solid core. And the quarterback room is nice. I know you guys beat us in the bowl game last year against our number 2.
Yeah, we did.
Against
Somehow.
against our backup quarterback. We got Preston Stone. He's top 25. He's a gunslinger, and we're gonna run tempo. And again, I come from basically I would say I'm part of the Art Briles coach tree down at Baylor. We're gonna run. We're gonna go tempo. It's gonna be fast, and my goal is to make it very difficult, and I can read and react off of what you do. I probably may only have like six plays in the playbook, but it's all going to happen rapid fire. So that's where I'm
taking notes. I play.
Oh, that's
like,
fine.
At the end of the season.
Oh yeah, the coach that we're missing was from Cal. I was like, wow, I got 2 people on the schedule. So, Bimble.
Yes.
I know this is tough. And I'm looking at your record the last couple of years. You did see they got in 2020. The Buffalo Bills did get up to 23 in the AP Bowl with a win in the Camilla Bowl.
Yeah,
actually won 3 bowl games.
Yeah, they went on a little bit of a run. I think the biggest thing is I actually had a question for both of you because it applies to all coaches. Do you guys think you're gonna go under the new scheme that they have right now, true to life, or are you just gonna completely do your own thing? As far as like with Boston College, they kind of had a pro style offense before, and now they kind of adapted into a zone blocking principle kind of situation, or Texas State, they have more of a wide open approach that keeps defenses, kind of guessing. It emphasizes motion, tempo, like you talked about. Are you guys going to keep those same core principles? Or are you going to completely revamp how they run their offense and defense, I guess?
That's a good question.
Oh, I'll do a quick answer. I lucked out. I got a coach that basically sees things the same way. I feel like I could walk in and see eye to eye with Coach L real quick, Coach Lachey, and basically their playbook's going to match what I would do. You're going to see a whole lot of 4 wide, little 11, maybe a little 21, and it's designed to. It's really interesting. If you want to look it up, you can look it up. Again, I don't care. The goal is to be able to run it so smooth you can't do anything about it in the first place. But it's a whole lot of RPO. Based on where you are, and out of that you run hot routes from that. I don't need much of a playbook. I need 6 plays, just something inside, something outside. So it's going to look the same from my end. I know some people may want to switch to it, but it also helps when you have it's going to be hard, and people may want to do that. I can see if you had something like a pro-style offense and you wanted to go spread. Only thing is, you also have to take into account what your players are there to do, because you can wind up being you put yourself in a very bad spot. And someone who has a vision of what they want to do versus the vision of what the coach had, and depends. It also depends on EA to a lesser extent, just to get an idea of what the playbooks are going to look like. Like how close did they model it? Did they model it off of the OC, the head coach? Are you going off of 2, 3, 6, 10 years of plays? Like we've just missed so much that we don't have that intangible. The the one thing I
And
want. Oh, go ahead.
um, the one thing actually on the Discord, it's funny you bring that up, talking about specific playbooks and how they're going to look. In the Discord, which if you haven't joined yet, please figure it out. Please send me an email. I'll get it back to you.
Man,
Whatever we need to get
anybody,
everyone in there. Please,
if
please
you see
fill
this
your.
on the YouTube on the Facebook group, just reach out to me, myself, even Drew. We'll point you in the right direction. We want to
We'll
get you
get you
guys
there,
here.
man.
We currently are missing about 19 people. We got one more person to sign up. So
Which isn't a crazy a lot when you look at the
no,
amount we're going for.
no,
But
but we had a
Sure.
lot of
19
people
people,
that.
you know, it bottlenecking us. We're super close to being able to get a lot more stuff done as far as introducing you guys as like you guys as coaches to the
Hmm.
people and to the people that are going to be fans of this. And back to like the main question, we were talking about in playbooks. The one I can't remember her name, and I don't remember what team she got. I'd have to look it up. But she was talking about how she really, really wanted to use a custom playbook. And 9 times out of 10 times, when I ever hear about a custom playbook being played in like a Madden leagues, or like Omar was talking about, anytime they do like custom things, it's always horrible. It's always OP. It's always exploity.
Yeah.
Like, and I said to her, I said, we don't want to be known as a league that allows for exploitations
Right.
to make up for lack of skill on the sticks,
Yeah,
or like, so that's one interesting thing about the playbooks. But it will be interesting to see how they're set up and if you can mix certain playbooks. I told her we might like talk about something like people can pick their top 3 playbooks that they want to use and maybe switch it throughout the year, something like that, because she was upset about she's like only going to be able to run 2 formations. So but that is one thing to think about in the future.
oh, too bad she didn't wind up at Army or Navy. That would have been fun.
I told her that.
You got 3 plays.
Oh no, something. Okay, this is just off the topic, but what if you just like straight recruited athletes? Like again, I'm thinking back in
And then just
14,
molded them.
and took somebody like Air Force, where they run the flex, and just make sure that those running backs are also received. Like I could see
Had a
somebody
bunch of
doing
Ian
something,
Book running around.
just something dirty, you know. Like so, yeah, you can go ahead, you can run a power triple option. But you can also just use that fullback as a inside. You could run inside zone RPO on it too, and just use those. Oh man, there's so many different ways I can conceive of messing with people, and that's my biggest thing. I just want to be able to. Again, the defense normally can react to the offense. I want to be able to react to the defense. I'm trying to, Drew. I'm gonna put pressure on you. Like if I see you starting to sneak up a safety, well, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna run off of it? Am I gonna run to it? Just gonna shoot up over the top. And again, with these Miami receivers, SMU's in a great spot. I've got a recruit pipeline in Texas and down in Florida, so expect speed. Yeah, not year
That's right,
one.
AKA athletes.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like if you want that 4-2 guy, you're gonna have to fight me for him, either in Florida or in Texas. We're coming. It's great that SMU's in the ACC. The only problem I have is that I don't think the depth. Like I think like
Yeah.
basically it's the lines that I have the biggest concern about because you have a bad O line that can smash anything you were trying to plan. Like anything the plan is, if you guys saw a 300-pounder coming up the middle, that might change your plan.
That
So
actually is my like roster's biggest cornerstone, and that's been like kind of their like trademark thing. The Bulls the past like 4 or 5 years is their O line is just absolutely dominant. So I'm really excited because it kind of gives me a clean slate. I can kind of mold that backfield in the wide receiver spots how I want to because
Yeah.
I know I have protection.
I mean,
I'm super excited about it.
I'm looking. You've been a little up and down the last couple of years. It looks like just going back to the last like 6. With the Bulls specifically, you're looking at 3-9. It's still 3-5 in conference. 7-6 with a bowl win. 7-6 with a bowl win. 4-8, and then in 2020 with COVID, they actually got up to 23, finished 6-1 with a bowl win too.
So
And
that
that's
team is
coming.
up 8 year.
Yeah, that's coming off of 8-5 and 10-4. So you guys are actually,
On the up.
maybe. Well, it looks like you took a couple of lumps on the way back down, but nothing out of the norm. And then with the way that the coaching carousel is going to work, we started to punch some numbers. You can do this at home if you want to look at your conference. I haven't done it for everyone yet. So, looking at the feedback, we were going to go with if you finished 4 spots over what your projected ranking was in conference, because we have to assume that we're only running one conference at a time. Like, we have to assume for the worst case. If we can get everyone together, that's awesome, but expect the worst, but plan for the worst, but expect the best. And then, so I looked at the AAC and the ACC, and basically something I didn't think of. You're going to wind up with a bell curve. You're going to have a team that finishes 0-8, 1-7. You may have a couple more that finish closer to the middle, 2-7. You're going to have a lot that finish between 3 and 5 wins. That one win could make the difference. I looked at the ACC, just going off of last year, so without SMU, and took Athlon's preseason poll. Using those two, about 5 teams got a chance to get a new school, get upgraded. Another 5 got fired, and only 4 stayed in the middle. That's out of 14 teams. So that basically, if you wind up with a team that you don't like, all you have to do is win. Not even that much. If you're ranked pretty bad, it's pretty easy. Like Rice wound up getting pulled up, and they had a sub 500 year. So it's just win your conference games. That's all we can say.
Just win, baby.
We may have to. We'll look into it. If it starts to get a little too crazy, we may have to bring that in, and that may be an audible on our part. We want to keep it fair, but we also don't want to see a 50% turnover every year. That's just going to lead to the people that get fired. They're basically going to wind up having to take those other jobs, and it's going to lead to a mess.
From Alabama to UAB, I'm here for the hurt feelings. I can't wait.
Ooh, there are going to be some hurt feelings. I already know. I've heard a couple people already. Again, sorry, Phil.
Man.
Sorry, Phil. Sorry, Phil.
I have no say in how you react to what I do. So, if you want to react, man, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's going to be broken hearts because half these games are going to be losses. That's what you just got to remember. Yep. Like for every win, there's an L. Other than that, what are you most looking forward to in the game coming out? Like, I cannot wait for the news to come out, to get their full release, and then I really can't wait for July.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the gameplay, and really, like, I'm excited about this league. Like, talking about doing highlights. Like, the people don't even know, like, what you guys do in the background is so much work. Which, by the way, shout out to them. Okay, put some love in the chat. They're doing so awesome. A lot of work. Can't wait to see what they do with this. So, yeah, getting highlights, even just that, like, there's going to be highlights of my game. Say what? So I'm excited about that. But, yeah, just the community around it.
Yeah.
Being able to build a dynasty with, 120 other people. Like, come on. There's nothing better.
So, with that, if anyone wants to help, if you need a quick breakdown on how to use Adobe Premiere Pro and want to help us out, we realize that's going to be a whole bunch of games. So if you have Premiere Pro and know how to just make quick cuts or something similar, by all means, reach out. Again, we're not taking off yet, but if we start getting compensated, those people who physically help out and make that possible, we'll take care of you guys. Again, it's just we're starting from the ground up.
Maybe we'll start like a poll or something that like whoever like votes, like the either the fans or people that watch it as well will vote what the best like highlight was, and maybe you can like compensate from 1, 2, 3 from there.
Yeah,
I think
top 10 ESPN top 10 or select talent top
something
10?
similar to that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a thing. That's going to be a thing. So, really, what I see this coaches show being, again, right now, I know it's a little dry, just because we are really early in the year, and but
is Cal coming through, or did he end up having something happen?
I don't know. I don't know where Cal is. I even had their fight song ready to go. All I can say is that Uptown will funk you up over here.
Yo,
Have you ever Oh, if you know anything about SMU, I never went to SMU, but I have seen their campus, been to their stadium, and it is in Uptown Dallas. That it's different. It's not where Omar Manning went to high school. I can tell you that much. It's different. Um, but with that, we are really just looking forward to getting this thing going. But yeah, if anyone wants to help, by all means, it's going to be a lot of games. If we're running 2 games a week, it's probably about 100 games. And between
And like it's
the more they can
it's
help the
also
two of us out, the the better.
one of the biggest things is like for me too is like if you guys like, oh, you missed something, like don't sit there and just complain about it. I'm not saying people do that. I'm not saying everyone does that. But if you have like something that you're streaming and you do something crazy that we miss, considering there's going to be 124, 134 people, by
Yeah.
all means, you guys have our emails, you guys have the Discord, just shout a message. And
So
if we'll either amend it or do like an honorable mention or add it to next week, like whatever the case is, just if you want to be noticed, it's going to take just a touch of work too from the coaches as well.
yeah,
It's a,
Sure. It's so easy to make clips nowadays.
Yeah,
Like, there's
exactly.
Not really, there's really no
you
excuse.
couldn't you literally have a computer in your hand
That's-
at all times. Like I don't want to. I know
So-
everyone below the age of like 35 has a computer in their hand at all times. So
and if not, we can help you
sorry,
out.
Tex.
That's
Sorry,
another.
Tex.
Hey, I do IT. I tried to. This is an actual scoreboard, by the way. It does work. It is so loud. It was picking up in the mic. I couldn't turn it on for
Oh
you
my
guys.
goodness, that's funny.
Yeah. But no, I definitely know tech. I got this thing rolling. I think people can see us. Hope so. If
Right?
not,
No, the chat looks good. It's people are talking about like what type of schemes they want to run. People are kind of talking about the new jerseys and all that, the stuff for that.
oh man. Let's see. Any other questions? Anybody watching had a question? We can just ask the field. Uh,
Do we know
What- what-
data? Do we know that, coach, off the top of our?
nope. But I would hope you got Florida.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Are both you gonna rebuild your teams, or you're looking to move up?
Ooh, that's tough. This is a rebuild. SMU is in a very good it's in a very good spot. Not many teams in general are going to have a built-in pipeline to Florida and Texas.
Yeah.
And being in Texas, I know I can get bodies to fill up my O line, my D line. I can get the receivers out of South Florida. I'm coming for everyone in South Florida.
I think whether I'm gonna rebuild or try to move up will really determine on, and I know it's like kind of a cop out answer, but it's kind of true. I think it'll depend on number one how the transfer portal is handled in the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, is a huge factor.
Yeah.
And secondly, how they have player progression. How are
Yeah.
you gonna? Is it going to be exactly
That's
like
good.
Madden? Is it going to be exactly like because if it's exactly like Madden, recruiting and stuff and doing like the scouts and everything, it really isn't that difficult. You assign them to a couple different areas and you kind of see what they do and you put people in the right spot where they have more higher stars. Like
I certainly hope it's not like that. I
hope
did.
no,
Oh God, no, no.
but I'm just saying. Like, I think it'll detrimentally like determine on those two factors
Well-
on whether I'm gonna. I want to rebuild because it's hometown team, but like if it's like just a shit show, trying to like build people and like build a team. I mean,
It depends on, for me, it's going to depend on how they treat SMU. Because in real life, SMU is getting zero money from the ACC. Like, they worked out a deal. They're not getting any money, any TV contract, nothing coming in for 9 years. But, again, this is NILU in the first place. Look at Eric Dickerson back in the 80s. This is the Pony Express. It just depends on how the game treats it. Like, specifically. Like, if I wind up being in a spot where I can't get much money, might have to look into other options if I get to a position where I can move the team up. And really, a lot of that's going to come down to also, like, what teams are open at the end of the year. So is a team that I have on my top, like SMU for me was my 6th pick. If one of those 5, and Baylor being one of those, if it opens up, I may have to take a peek because again, McLean was my new stadium came in a year after the game. It would have started in NCAA 14 or 15.
Right.
So they got a brand new Diggs I haven't been able to play with yet. That might be tempting. And again, I think I had Notre Dame. I think a lot of the people I know are in the ACC. ACC is going to be. It's turning out to be quite nasty.
Yeah.
So may just want to get out of there. Again, it just depends on how the league performs, and mainly the biggest thing I would worry about from NIL and how they put that in is if you're at a smaller school. So if they go by reach, right? Like I could see the conference you're in determining some of that math that goes in behind the scenes, because when
Yeah.
it comes down to it, it's a game. It's still math.
It's like
So
the conference
so if
prestige for the
yeah
game.
yeah so if you're at Buffalo, I can see SMU and Boston College having such a great advantage that you would want to get out of Buffalo quickly, and you'll know that.
Yeah, you're
And
not wrong.
yeah, that's
You're not,
that
you're
that
not wrong.
that would be tough. You may want to scoot over to Syracuse really quick and join us.
That's not no. That's worse. That's
Yeah.
almost worse. Bro,
That was I think my 10th pick. If it came down to it, I think that's where I was going to stop. Um, any other questions from the chat? Any thing you guys want to know?
I think what actually you said is going to be super underrated is playing with new stadiums. We haven't had new stadiums. Now, I know in college football revamped, they've kind of done that, but seeing that on, the newest consoles, all the new, I can't wait
Oh,
to see if there's
yeah.
any kind of team builder, custom stadiums. Like that, I think it's going to be super underrated. That's one thing that I feel like they really emphasize is, hey, you're going to feel like you are in the stadium that you're playing in. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely awesome. That's why I had LSU up high. Just when I hope
Right,
it
yeah.
gets neck and just we'll just cut out the words. But yeah, let's see what else. Jerseys are another thing. Like just seeing everything revamped after this long is going to be crazy. Because
Yeah.
you can see the detail even in that little trailer they put out. You're like, wow, that's gonna look different. I'm hoping they go back. I want all the options. Like I want to go back. Give me that 1980s throwback with the mesh and just get to see that. Again, old.
Yeah. Oregon's going to have like 95 jerseys.
Oh yeah, if you're Oregon, you'll never wear the same combo twice. I think. SMU, even with that, I don't think they've got too many options. But again, they got a classy look. I know you guys pretty much are going to have. You got a couple of options that all look the same. You're like, oh yeah, I got
Maroon, white, and white and maroon, and a little gold in this one. Pretty much the same.
Yeah, like places like Baylor. If you can mix and match, again, if you couldn't tell, Baylor, you can mix and match. I want to get the old chromes in. I want to get the old gold. Because they actually threw out our gold helmets for some reason. So they got yellow and green and white, and I'm like, yeah, we could do better. But just being able to mix and match that, I think a lot of teams are going to have a lot of options. I don't see, that's the thing about college, and most teams don't really change their overall identity like the NFL. So you're not going to see somebody. I'm trying to think of something that comes to mind. Like you won't have the Titans being able to go back and wear the Oilers. It just doesn't happen in college because the colleges don't
I remember when the
move.
Seahawks introduced
Oh yeah.
lime green joints,
Hmm.
and like that was huge. That was a big deal back then. That was like Legion of Boom. That was a big deal.
But yeah, just seeing everything refreshed. Again, the biggest thing is going to be recruiting and how they pull that off. Just don't mess that up. I see Ryan's here in the chat. Unique. I wish I could. Wait, can you send him an invite? Or do I have to do it? Let's see if we can get Ryan in here.
What's his name?
Ryan Nolan. We have to find it. It may not be quick. Ryan, if you want to drop your email in the commish chat, we'll try to get you jump in here. Tell us a little more about Unique as well.
Yeah.
You remember Sean Oakman when you guys had him over at Baylor? That man looked like a literal Vietnam tank.
We
Oh, he's the meme, right?
I knew it was gonna click, bro. Look, he's built like a shit brick house, bro. That man made
Turned a jersey into a crop top.
That's
Like
what I'm
that's
saying.
crazy.
He made D1 athletes look like they were small individuals.
It's right there. There it is.
He's huge. He's not the
love
biggest guy we had. He's not the biggest guy we had. You guys may not remember this because he didn't get a whole lot of touches.
Well, I mean that's kind of his fault, unfortunately, if I remember correctly.
He was cleared of all charges. That's not the one.
Jackson.
That's not the one. This is the one. If you ever seen Laquan McGowan,
anyone named Laquan has to be.
he was 400 pounds, 400-pound lineman that they moved to H-back. He got a couple of scores.
Wait a minute. He moved to what?
He moved to H-back. Yeah. Yeah. So, come here, safety.
190-pound safety. Yeah. Good luck.
Don't think I won't try that. Drew, I just saw your face.
99 receiver, that's what's going to happen.
Oh, you get a 99 speed receiver, and then I'm tired of that. Let's get your guys all tired, and then what is that? There's gonna be. All right, no worries. Yeah, that may be a problem. But yeah, so yeah, the idea is to going back to unique apparel. The goal is to get the conference champions because we know that all conferences are not created equal. If you win the MAC, I do, but we're not going to go with it because it's going to look completely different. But yeah, there's going to be a Select Talent Championship. You're going to get a little patch on it. You're going to get your gamer tag on a plate on the back. Number for whichever season. So somebody starts winning, they may have a closet full of these things. But definitely unique in the esports world and actually getting something tangible.
How's the email responses going as far as getting people that haven't done their? I can't believe I'm saying this. There are still people that still haven't filled out their teams and even filled out the application.
I feel bad. I feel bad for some of the guys who we had 2 top 10 picks.
Oh,
we had 2 top 10 picks. They just never got back to us. So again, we can look at that 2 ways. And if you think I'm wrong on this, community, I'm looking at you guys in the back. The way I see it, these are the guys who weren't going to show up when the games start to hit, and definitely weren't going to show up. Let's just take. I've been using this example a lot when I'm trying to tell people what I was thinking. We are going to actively recruit over 200 people because we want to make sure that. Again, I know that I would stick it out, but not everyone would. You start getting on a losing streak. You have LSU. You lose a tight game to your in-state rival Tulane, and then follow that up by getting boat raced by Texas. I don't expect that person to stick around for the next game. I just can't.
Make it entertaining for people to watch and have them watch you lose.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here, guys?
Well,
build the league.
Exactly. Well, again,
this 0-8 with UB. It was expected anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But
that's my take on it, man. I get it. People are uber competitive, but again, you could go both ways with that. If you're uber competitive, why wouldn't you want to stay out and build your team?
So one of
for the coaching carousel.
Yeah. So one of the things we're doing is, again, it's because we still have lead time. We don't have this finalized, but we're gonna track a whole lot of coaching stats. We're not gonna track the individual player stuff because if we're combining 10 different dynasties into basically one universe, we're not going to take the time to go through all of the individual players. I'm sorry, players, but we'll keep track of the coach. we'll keep track of who you coached against. You'll be able to pull those records up really fast. So if let's say both of you guys wind up in the Big Ten, say whatever happens, Drew winds up at Michigan, Bryce winds up at, or in this case, I wind up at Ohio State, just because we're already playing in conference. We'll know what that conference record is, and then when we're leading up to the big game, we'll be able to just say, hey, yeah, Drew's gotten Fireball 3 out of 4 times, last two, and just be able to play off of that. So once we get 4 seasons, we start looking into 2026, and then we got another 4 seasons. But we get 10 seasons deep into this. It's going to be quite interesting just to see how people are against each other. And again, we're going to constantly be looking for people. How will I decide the end of the season awards? Again, this isn't the league for that. This is the league for coaching. The end of season awards are going to be like this. If you win your conference championship, you are guaranteed a spot in the Select Talent Championship. If you are Notre Dame and you finish in the top 12, we're assuming we're only going to have 12. We may expand that, but if you're Notre Dame and you finish in the top 12, you get an automatic bid as well. That'll put us at 11. That would leave 1 slot open for the next team. The next team up would not be a conference championship game loser. So that's out. So again, we're about winning. The way I see it, that's one thing I hated to see in college football recently in real life. If you lose your conference championship game, that means you already lost. Like, there's no need to. I see that as just an extra round of the playoffs. So with that, the idea is we may add in 1 or 2. Just depends on how the gameplay is. But if we can have a 12-team playoff, which is what it sounds like what we're going to start off with, that leaves us 1 at-large bid. The conference commissioners, we have a group of 15 people that are going to double as the playoff committee and also decide the fate of Notre Dame if they go in the hot seat. But basically, Notre Dame, if you win less than 9 games, you're out. Sorry. That's pretty much where we will just leave it for the coaching carousel. And I know a whole lot of people want Notre Dame. It was very highly rated. But the idea is we'll just go in and we may even have a NIT-style second-tier tournament. We may not do that in the first season just because we're trying to really want to see how we can get all this together. It looks like we got 15 minutes left in the chat, boys. Yeah, the idea is just win. That's where you're going to get the awards. The awards that we're going to give out are going to go to the conference champions. We're going to have 8 conference championship games. The way we broke down the Mountain West and the Pac-2, basically split that off. So if you're on the west side in Boise, you were in the Pac. Everyone else was in the Mountain West. And if it gives us if we have a way to kill the Pac-2, because I know we couldn't in 14. That's why we had this set up this way to begin with. But if we can kill it, we'll kill it. We'll just have 9 conferences. So if we cannot kill the Pac-2, then what we're going to do is basically the Pac and the Mountain West are going to, their champions would play in the first round bracket. So basically, the way I look at it, they both would get a bye, but then we have to have them play each other. It wouldn't be fair to play anybody else first. So yeah, they get a bye. Again, you're in a smaller conference, better chance. So really, if you wind up with a team out there, those games are going to be fierce because it's not going to take nearly as much to win that as it would. You can win your division, but I think the way most of the conferences are now, it's not even so much winning your division, just finishing in the top 2.
What happens if we have multiple people finish? And I know it's extremely unlikely. However, weirder things have happened.
I'll go for it.
What happens if we have like 2 or 3 people or even 4 people finish undefeated in the same conference?
That probably wouldn't happen.
I'm aware.
Statistics are going to say that shouldn't happen. At least four, you get exponentially down. Then it would you would go just treat it the way that every one of these conferences have their tiebreakers published.
Okay.
So you go off of head-to-head wins. That again, with everyone undefeated, There's just no way. There's no way that could mathematically
There's
happen.
more than likely statistically impossible almost. I would imagine would be the situation, but I think a tiebreaker would probably just be the most logical solution. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would do
Unless
that.
they're
We
like
would-
one of the
Conference
special
specific.
invite teams.
if it comes down to it, you would probably just go off a point differential, overall point differential, then offensive points scored. Because it's a
All right,
video
let's run
game.
up the score.
All
No
right.
mercy.
Yeah. Defensive points scored. You're actually probably not wrong on that. Defensive points against, and then if there's still a tie, then a point scored. But yeah, that would be highly, highly high. I can't see how anyone's schedule would be that diffuse because there's still. Yeah, there's no way that could happen. There's just only X number of opportunities. So if you're in a, let's look at the Big Ten. You've got 18 teams. You're gonna play 9 games, so you have an opportunity to play half of that. Just the chance that these halves aren't going to collide is going to be impossible. Not impossible, but so improbable. I haven't even thought of that. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't finish statistics.
I don't even think I fucking took statistics, bro.
It's been a minute. Well, I deal with math all the time. So, but yeah, that's unlikely.
Yep.
Let's see.
You
Other
guys
than
taking a look at your schedules, right? I imagine.
I could pull
I
that
got a
up.
tough one. Yeah, I pulled it up, but I got a tough one.
Let's see.
I got SMU halfway through the season. I got another one of my buddies I get to play, like second or third game.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Can't wait.
Where do I can't find the schedule off of here. Not on the side I was on. I know that I have pretty much.
I gotta round it out with Kent State, my last game.
Yeah, Bryce has one of our mutual friends in the middle of the season in UConn too.
I thought that. You know what's funny? I don't remember their names, but I remember when we did the draft. I remember Toledo, Ohio, and like UMass and Missouri were like not super high up there, but I remember doing them pretty early.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got paper greens.
That is
That's
the
that
funniest
one's
thing I've
circled.
heard all day.
Yeah.
Wait, is he
UConn.
Okay, right, yeah. He's from there, right? Minnesota?
No, he's Connecticut.
Connecticut, sorry.
It's not quite Minnesota, but
Not quite.
I don't think I know I've got a tough non-conference. I've got BYU and TCU, and then like I get this one stretch. I get FCS school to start. Then I think I get Nevada. Then maybe flip-flopped. And then I go from Nevada and that to BYU and TCU. Then the toughest game on my schedule is Florida State, and then I've got Louisville, who did pretty good last year. After that, I could see myself being at 2-4, and making a run for the title game. Because after that, it gets a little better for me. I get chances to win games. I got BC, Cal, Stanford. I do have Stanford coach, Phil, may not. He may want some revenge for what we did with Nebraska, because that was his team in Omar. Well, I wasn't going to let a player not get his team, so yeah, that's a thing. And then the rest of it, like Virginia, Duke, the rest of them look winnable. Just that Florida State game's going to be a toughie. But
that's my season opener is Florida State.
Mine too. And then, but I miss Notre Dame. I don't play them. I don't play Clemson. I don't play Georgia Tech. I don't play Miami. I was like, oh, this could be so much worse. That's the reason why I don't think. So, that's why I don't think you could even have to worry about that, because if I only miss those 4 teams are going to play somebody else. Because the top 2 or 3 teams that would really have the best shot at going undefeated are going to play. They have a 50-50 shot at playing each other, and then 50-50 shot at playing everybody else. So That's just the math is not on your side there. Other than that, I know we were about to wrap up. We still got a couple minutes though. Um,
Closing
so
thoughts kind of thing, you know.
I don't really have any closing thoughts. Just want to let you guys know that, excuse me, this is going to turn into our highlight show when the games start going. So we're going to recap. May even be a little bit longer than an hour, just because we don't know how much we're going to do. We're probably not going to do 1 week at a time. It'll be probably the top two, and then we'll take requests. If you had a top game, if there was a comeback, we want to know about it. Because again, it's a lot of games to go through. But that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Again, just house cleaning. It because people are inherently bad, and if anyone does think they can cheat, I want to just point this out now. We're going to have 3 people watching every game. We're going to have somebody cutting up the highlights. We're going to have the conference coach. He may not catch your game, but he's going to catch others. And we're going to have every game live streamed. If you don't have your YouTube channel set up to your PS5 yet, It's easy to do, but
no reason. I'm sorry.
And
zero excuse. Zero excuse.
Well, we're going to go ahead and we'll have a tutorial just in case. But really, you don't even have to use our tutorial. We're just going to give you one and tell you to watch this. But that way, we're going to have in our system, basically everyone's going to get access to a Google Drive here in probably June, probably even before the season starts. This is where you're going to be able to find, like, Drew's interview today. We're going to try to get everybody. We're going to rotate other coaches in. We're going to get everybody a chance to be in front of the mic, just so you get to go know who you're fighting. It just comes a little bit so people can plan on that. But we're going to have all of these. Yeah, and then we'll have all the links really quick to get to. And you'll be able to go scout the other team. You'll be able to pull up their live stream, watch the full game really quick. You'll have all of those listed by game, and then we'll have the stat. You'll be able to pull up their stat sheet. Pretty much we're going to have everyone fill out theirs individually. Basically, it's going to be another Google form but this one's going to be simpler. It's not a massive thing where you've got to cycle through 134 teams. Again, that was the best way we could try to do that. But the idea is you fill in your yards, your passing yards, rushing, penalties, and then their yards, so you can see what your defense is. And then we'll have all of that auto-gen. And then basically it's just a whole lot of work with Google Sheets, where we get one to pull into a master, so we'll be able to track who's leading the nation in yards, who's leading the nation in defense, who's leading the nation in penalties, and then just total points.
Trash defense.
Yes, we're gonna know. We're gonna know. And that's actually probably how we would do the end of year awards. Just offensive coordinator of the year, defensive coordinator of the year, coach of the year may be up to committee. We may do something where we have something coming out to each individual conference, like, hey, which coach did you not like? After you play everybody, you'll have what's your toughest game? Like, who is your toughest opponent? Not necessarily the best rated team,
right.
because
you could have won, you could have lost, but like you really had to fight for that win.
Because Florida State may win our league, but they may not have the best coach. You know what I'm saying? That could be Miami. A little shout. Oh, I also know the coach at Miami. He's a football player too. Molly Wop, if you're listening, I got to give you a shout. And I'm coming for all your players too. Just FYI. We've known Molly for
a long time, and I'm not gonna lie to you. For probably like 5-6 years at this point, to this day, I still feel uncomfortable saying his name. To this day.
The wild child. He's not listed here under Molly, but Phil Rimmer says almost any team I play inside the ACC, Stanford will be the underdog. I'm going for mean upsets, even at 2-6. I'll be going for an upset week 9. Yeah, you will, and I'm coming for you. I see you, Phil. I can't wait to see what the gameplay is gonna be like.
Yeah.
Again, one of the things I want to do is we want to have it set under simulation settings. This isn't going to be a comp league. This is
Yeah.
I want this to be a hardcore, you got to earn it league. So, like one
Mhm.
thing I look playing Madden a little bit. I don't like how they give you all the notifications on the box. I want to take that out when you're running an RPO. I want you to have to earn that too.
Mm.
Like a
You got to
hardcore.
practice. You got to
Yeah.
go to practice.
Yeah, you gotta practice. That's the reason why we're not gonna start the league on day one. We're gonna wait about a week. First Sunday after the first Wednesday that the game's out. So if the game comes out on a Friday, you gotta wait till that Wednesday. So we'll play the following Sunday to give everybody some time.
Yeah.
If they didn't get the early release, that doesn't matter. We want everyone to have be a little comfortable with how the game is,
Hmm.
and that way we can know what to look out for. So if anyone is trying to go ahead and cheat the system, we'll have an idea of what to look for first. We're just trying to keep it. Just again, don't cheat. There's no need for that. You're gonna have
Yeah.
enough chances, and just have fun.
The hilarious thing is, everyone knows that everyone knows what cheating looks like. Number one, when if you play the game enough, and number two, the hilarious thing is, everyone that is involved in this league loves video games and loves college football.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not. I wouldn't call it nerdy or geeky, but it's a little bit niche as far as doing a huge dynasty like this. What are you doing with your life if you're
Yeah.
cheating at an online dynasty with
Uh,
134 real people? What are we
Mm.
What are you doing? Just don't do it.
so I had a quick question I want to get to. Phil or not Phil, Unique asked, what teams are still available? I want to try to pull that up real quick before the
Yeah. What are
stream
the top
dies.
teams still open?
Yeah, that'd be the
Entice some
final
people.
closing thoughts on the final teams.
I'm just gonna go ahead and toss
It's
that
a lot of
up
fun
here.
though, guys. I'm really excited about this coach's show. What it's gonna end up being.
Mm. Yeah. Is it July yet?
I know.
No.
I know. I'm feeling the same way. I can't wait to get this thing rolling. So give me 1 second. I want to pop this to where we can actually see. Now, again, that's about the best I can do. So, basically, here you go. You got Charlotte, FAU, Rice, Temple, University of Texas, San Antonio, Wake Forest, and Northwestern. You still have two Power 5 teams still on the board. Everyone's gone out of the Big Ten. CUSA has UTEP and UMass. MAC with Ball State, Central Michigan, Miami of Ohio, that's a sleeper, and Northern Illinois. Nevada, someone gets to play me if they pick them up. New Mexico, UNLV, Wyoming, Fresno State, San Jose State, San Diego State. And then at the home of the Atlanta Braves, former home of the Braves, you have Georgia State, Old Dominion, Louisiana Monroe, South Alabama, and Troy. Again, with the coaching carousel, basically, if you finish in the top half, you should be good to go. But again, I want to thank everybody for watching the stream. Looks like everyone else is cut out for me, but we look forward to doing this again. We'll open up for another couple of coaches, see what we can do. I know we've got some streamers that wanted to get on here too. But again, I thank everybody for watching. And is it July yet?